So with Module 24, you all know by now, we're getting a rework to the Temple of the Spider. There'll be a normal version, which will just be going in your random queues. Shouldn't be much more difficult than the previous version, just with a few more mechanics and a big graphic overhaul. But additionally, there will be a master version, which is going to have the ultimate reward after you complete a series of very challenging achievements, much like we have with Rise of Tiamat. And so the devs made a developer blog discussing how there's going to be two versions, the normal version available to players at 25k item level and will be included in random dungeon queues, and then the master version is supposed to be a challenge worthy of the strongest adventurers and will require 75,000 item level. And then he goes over a bit about the story. High Priestess of Lolth was undercovered as a secret moon dancer taken into the temple, and basically we need to go and free the priestess. And then you have to go and encounter Halbrine Darkstalker, the first boss, then Dalzor Mizraim, the second boss, and then ultimately Sindrith herself as the drow. And you can see the Dark Maiden's armor you can obtain here, along with then a whole bunch of new mythic rings. I'll make a video discussing those, whether or not some of them are worth it or not. And otherwise, ultimately, we can obtain the top tier reward, which is a fashion piece, which you can brag to all your friends after managing to complete this series of achievements. And this is all set up by Lasser, the systems designer. Now, to just back up a bit of the story, a secret moon dancer is basically like a good drow within the evil community of drow, which normally just worship Lolth, who's like bad. And then you have a bit more details about Illustre there. She is the goddess that those moon dancers worship. And otherwise, that new armor piece has actually been in the game before. Now, the developer did say he's going to improve upon it. As you can see, it looks very similar to this. Hard to compare directly when we can only see a male version versus the female version, but some of you may have this still in the game, and it was originally called Lolth's Armor, as you can see there. But again, I think it's taking on a bit of a different look this time. And ultimately, what you're going to have to do is complete this series of achievements, 10 of them in total, in order to complete this ultimate achievement, Web Hacker, which will give you the title Web Hacker, along with the Lolth-Blessed Armor, which is this, looking on a male character. So first of all, you simply have to complete Temple of the Spider on the master version, and you obtain Temple of the Spider. Then you have to get Perfection, where you have to complete the Temple of the Spider without anybody dying. Also pretty self-explanatory. And then you have to get Dash, complete the Temple of the Spider within 20 minutes. I think this is absolutely doable. Cut out the time that you're AFKing between the boss fights, along with then making sure you complete each boss fight within one go. And then you have to do Minimalist, complete the Temple of the Spider at minimum item level. Again, that's pretty straightforward. You just go to your advanced dungeon, your queue, whatever it is, like right here, let's say yours to queue in Vault of Stars. You go to private, you go to match options, and you reduce your item level to minimum. Basically, you will be going in then, if let's say Vault of Stars with 45k, you'd be going in at 45k, but Temple of the Spider Master is not available just now. Next up, you have to get Situation Diffused. You have to defeat the first boss without triggering any traps or having any bombs exploded. Again, this is the first boss just here. You have the mechanic where you get this red area, and if it touches one of, you see the barrels over there, then they will explode. Otherwise, you also have these traps that will get placed on the ground. You'll see one just here. You see the red area. This is it spawning in, and then the red area goes away, but the trap still stays there. If somebody walks into it, it gets triggered, and thus you'll fail the achievement if it does. And additionally, you'll get these red barrels, which are going to have a timer until they explode. And if you don't destroy it quick enough, it explodes, and thus you also fail your achievement. So basically, beat the first boss without making any faults, and you'll get Situation Diffused. Additionally, you need to get Explosive Tendency from the first boss. Basically, you have to complete it without having more than 6 bombs in the arena during the fight. That will be a mix and match of basically making sure that when these barrels spawn, that you do explode some of them. Like if you don't explode any of the barrels, you'll end up with an arena filled with like 12 barrels or something. So that will be quite interesting to play with. Again, just making sure you have no more than 6 bombs in the arena. Then we go to the second boss. You have to defeat herself without any ritual strength. This means again you have to play the boss perfectly. Basically you get to like 80%, the boss will phase, and then you have the mechanic where you get these demons to spawn. You also get these ghosts which spawn in, which need to get healed. You can see Sindrith's willpower. They need to get fully healed within a certain amount of time, and if not, they disappear, they turn into a spider as an indicator, and you failed and you've gained 1 ritual strength. And we've already phased the boss and got through that phase where we've got to kill these demon things, and it basically, if you don't kill the demon things quick enough, you also get a stack. Additionally, if to not gain a stack, you also have to destroy these purple ghosts as you see there. They be named Willpower Prison, and that's just kind of a DPS check. Beat them in time and you'll lose the stack you gained that they gave you when they spawned. You have to play again everything perfectly, not gain any ritual strength to obtain that achievement, Forgot the Incense. Additionally, you have to get Iron Willed, where you have to defeat the second boss and restore each of Sindrith's willpowers within 9 seconds. This is like only for the healer, which again just requires them to fully heal those ghosts so they disappear, but within 9 seconds. Otherwise, we have Power Nap, which is to defeat the last boss, Sindrith, without any player being trapped in a cocoon for more than 5 seconds. With the right timing, I'm fairly sure this is doable. You can see I'm in the cocoon right here and my teammates have to free me. And you're going to have to free me within 5 seconds. We obviously failed here, but we managed to destroy the cocoon within the 10 seconds, which really is what matters to beat the dungeon. But yeah, every cocoon, beat it within 5 seconds to complete it. And then you have Offer Declined. Defeat Sindrith in Temple of Spider without intercepting Insidious Offer. What this means is you have these lines that will come from these big drow on the outside. And this is a green line right here. And this is the Insidious Offer. Basically, if you let that green line hit the boss, it will heal the boss and give her a buff. So that's going to be, again, quite interesting to play with. You're going to have to intentionally fail a mechanic and still beat the boss. It might be pretty challenging because you're adding a lot of time to the fight by not intercepting that line, and the boss then getting healed every, let's say, 40 seconds or so. We can see again, that's the green line when we got the cocoon here to save. And again, that green line will heal the boss and buff the boss, and you're still getting red lines, which if you don't intercept, the person targeted by it will get a debuff, which will mean they take extra damage over time. Anyway, I think all of these challenges are very well doable as long as they are coded correctly to actually trigger and give you the achievement when the conditions are met. As with Rise of Tiamat, unfortunately, there was one achievement which was impossible to obtain because it was mechanically bugged. You just weren't able due to the coding. So people were trying to do it and wasting their time and yeah, not getting that achievement. It was really sucked. But these seem to at least look a bit more simple and more doable. And again, it's a dungeon you only need 5 people to coordinate with rather than a full 10. And ultimately you'll obtain this exclusive armor, whether it's a copy and paste of like this version, I'm not sure, as I can't compare directly with male to female. This guy does seem to have like some more gems in the center there, so potentially it will look a little bit more fancy, but who knows. Overall, that is the developer blog and the ultimate challenge with the new dungeon, in air quotes, since it's just a rework of an older dungeon. I'm happy with the rework. The mechanics that they've introduced make the fight essentially play out completely different for the first and second boss. And the last boss, that is probably the most boring boss right there. The main mechanic is just intercepting lines and breaking the guy out of the cocoon, and breaking the guy out of the cocoon is probably the mechanic you're going to fail at the most. So again, a special thank you to all of these channel members for their added support. And if I presented this well, consider leaving a video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.